Yeah, I started listening.
So, Hare Krishna. Uh, we are discussing Canto 2, and in the first chapter, we discussed about the importance of meditation on the body, limbs of Lord Vishnu. And so, Shukadeva Goswami described the limbs of the Virat Purusha in detail. Virat Purusha has many limbs, and the whole of the universe, with every nook and corner within the universe, is representing the aspect of the Virat Purusha. So the Virat Purusha, the form of the Virat Purusha is the gross form of the Lord. Just like we have got this gross form, gross material body, the Lord has got a gross material body, which is his Virat Rupam. And he is also present within the same universe as Garbhodakashai Vishnu. So he is the second Purusha. There are three Purusha incarnations of the Lord who are responsible for managing this universe, creation, sustenance, and also destruction. So the three Purushas are responsible for all the aspects, the administration within this universe. And the first Purusha is Mahavishnu. And he is considered as the soul, the Paramatma of the Pradhana, the Mahat Tattva. And it is because of him, because of his glance, the three modes of material nature agitate along with the pradhana to create several transformations in sequence that eventually leads to creation of the five material ingredients, the Pancha Mahabhuta within this universe, and also the Tanmatras and the 10 senses, 5 Karmendriyas and 5 Jnanendriyas. So he creates the ingredients of the creation, and then he expands himself into these ingredients. And so they are just like bubbles in the Karna Jalam, and he expands himself into each of these small bubbles, and these bubbles are universes. He expands as Garbhodakashai Vishnu, who is the soul of that universe. And then Lord Brahma is created from Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and he performs the secondary creation. So the Lord gives the ingredients to Lord Brahma, just like sometimes we give some clay to children, and the children make various objects using the clay, and it is available in stationery shops. You can buy red color clay, blue color clay, and so on. So likewise, Bhagavan gives the Panchabhutas and then the Pancha Tanmatras and the 10 senses and so on, using which Lord Brahma, just like a child plays with the clay and creates various objects within the universe, Lord Brahma is a secondary creator. He is only the secondary creator. And his power of creation is also aroused by the remembrance which is imparted by the Lord. And so from that remembrance, he gets the power, he gets the memory to create, and then he creates the whole universe. And this universe that we see today, in the form today, consisting of names and forms of various objects. There are so many objects within this universe, and they are distinguished from each other in terms of their characteristics. For example, solid has certain characteristics, liquid has certain characteristics, and they have got certain names. So there is a variety within this creation, and that is the secondary creation which Brahma does. So the Brahma, therefore, is also the cause of creation, but he is the secondary creator. And then Lord also expands as the third Purusha into every Jiva as Paramatma, and he stays within the heart of every Jiva, every living entity, and he is seated very close to the Jiva. And so, without the presence of Lord, the creation cannot happen, can never happen. And without the presence of the Lord near the Jivatma also cannot act. So the very fact that we are acting, we are performing various actions through all our five senses and also our 5 working senses, totally 10 senses. We perform various actions, and all of these actions require some sankalpa. We need some determination to perform actions. And that determination comes from the smriti, the memory. So it is the Paramatma who induces that memory within the Jivatma, and he induces thus the Jiva to act in various ways. So it is very clear, without the glance of the first Purusha Mahavishnu, creation cannot happen. Without the presence of Garbhodakasha Vishnu, the primary ingredients in the form of the Mahatattva cannot be converted or cannot be transformed. Vikaram means transformation. The primary ingredients have to be transformed into various objects with various qualities and names that we see today. And that also cannot happen without the Purusha, Garbhodakashai Vishnu. And also the action of the Jivas through various senses and the outlets, through the outlets called senses, cannot also happen without the presence of Paramatma. So in nutshell, it is because of Paramatma everything is happening, not just the creation and the objects of creation. They are moving so perfectly and we admire everything. That's all right, and that is because of the Lord. Even our own action, our own desire is happening because we are able to desire. It's because of the Paramatma within the heart. So therefore, the way by which the jiva who is now in samsara can be liberated is by meditating on the forms of the Lord. And that gives the purification required, necessary purification required. So this jiva is now engaged in various action because of the avishuddha bhukti. So our intelligence is impure. And so it is suggesting us to seek various pleasures and pain. So when we are performing action, we anticipate certain pleasure or pain. And so our intelligence is now acting in terms of material pleasure or pain. If something gives material pleasure, our intelligence is urging our mind to engage the senses in those sense objects and to perform so that the desired pleasure can be attained. So therefore, this is the impure intelligence. And so the impure intelligence is impelling the mind to enjoy variety of sense pleasures. Now, naturally, the jiva, though he is glorious, though he is spirit soul, though there is no contamination, there is no touch of material element or material impurity on jiva, because it is now identifying itself with this material creation, impelled by the impure intelligence, he starts to act and gets implicated in various actions and the results and so on. So the very first step in the progress towards liberation is the jiva should be purified of his contamination. He should be purified. The chitta should be purified. That's why Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So if at all we desire any relief from this samsara which is burning us, our chitta, our consciousness should be first of all purified. And there are various means of purification suggested in the scriptures. And all these means are recommended for different kinds of people. So because Vedas have to accommodate all kinds of people, it is imparting different instructions to these different people, humans, so that there will be chance for purification and rectification. And at some point of time, if the purification continues to happen, and if the jiva continues to act in a pious way, then he becomes the object of Lord's mercy more and more. And then when Lord is sufficiently satisfied with the jiva, he will give the opportunity to associate with devotees, and then he gets the knowledge of Bhagavan. And then his pathway towards liberation really opens. So Sadhu Sangha is the exclusive mercy of the Lord. If we can know anything related to Lord, it can happen only through His mercy. And these sadhus, the saints who are conversant with the qualities of the Lord, are just like extended hands of the Lord. And so, through these extended hands called these sadhus, uh, Krishna tries to help the jivas when he is sufficiently satisfied the jiva. And then sadhus continue to cultivate the desire of the jiva in a way to make him progress further and further. So that is the further refinement that happens because of sadhu. That's why it is said, because of Krishna's grace, one gets sadhu sangha, and because of sadhu's mercy, one gets Krishna. So both are interdependent. We first of all, we can get sadhu sangha only because of Krishna's mercy, and one can get Krishna because of sadhu's mercy. So if the sadhu is not satisfied, if our acharyas are not satisfied, one can never attain Krishna. And it is also said in the Guru Ashtaka, daily in morning we sing Guru Ashtaka. That is part of ISKCON procedure. Prabhupada has given some procedure for sadhana on daily basis, and every ISKCON follower used to sing what is called Guru Ashtakam in early morning. And in the last stanza of the Guru Ashtakam, it is stated, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya aprasadat nagati kutopi. So one can get the Bhagavat prasada, mercy of the Lord, because of Guru's mercy. And if Guru is not satisfied, yasya aprasadat nagati kutopi, then there is no possibility for spiritual advancement. So it is because of sadhu's mercy one can finally attain Krishna. Krishna's mercy is required for the initial touch of jiva and sadhu, but then sadhu has to be satisfied and he has to pour his mercy. Then Krishna accepts such jiva and he gives access to the spiritual world. So our entrance into the spiritual world depends purely on the mercy of sadhu, who is always immersed in the meditation on the form of the Lord, on the gunas of the Lord, and so on. So it is through the sadhu one can have any real knowledge about the Lord. Otherwise, one can have only speculation. One can only subscribe to various theories, and one will forever be confused because there are so many theories about the creation. There are so many theories about God, and people also have various understanding, so on. So therefore, one can have real understanding of Bhagavan only through sadhus. As I was saying, the sadhus will encourage people to either chant the holy name of the Lord or to remember to meditate on the Lord. Just like Shukadeva Goswami is describing the various parts of the Virat Purusha, Virat Rupam, so that we may meditate on the universal form of the Lord, and the result of such meditation will be the purification of the consciousness. But when he explained about Virat Purusha, one may naturally ask question, what about the forms of the Lord that we see in the temple? What about the forms of the various forms of the Lord? Lord comes as Rama, Narasimha, Vamana, Krishna, Balarama. So there are so many personal incarnations of the Lord. Now, what about them? Meditating on those forms of the Lord are even more glorious because they are self-same Lord. They are the full potency of the Lord is already in the form of the Lord. So they are self-same Lord Krishna, whether it be Lord Krishna or Lord Rama or Narayana or in any form that we see, the Vishnu Tattvas, they are equally powerful. One form is as good as the other form in terms of meditation. And all these forms are competent enough to deliver any jiva who meditates on the Ishta, the form that is desirous to the jiva. So one may desire the association of Lord Rama just like Hanuman, or one may love to meditate on Lord Krishna just like gopis. And all these forms offer benediction to such bhakti yogis. So then why did Shukadeva Goswami describe about Virat Purusha? He could have directly described about the personal form of the Lord, isn't it? Why should he first of all describe about Virat Purusha and explain about all these various limbs of the Virat Purusha. The reason is because the meditation on Virat Purusha is especially suggested to the sadhakas who are not situated in the proper faith required to meditate on the personal form of the Lord. So the meditation on Virat form is generally suggested to impersonalists, the people who advocate that Lord has no form, or sometimes atheists, people who say nature is the God. So for such people, the prescription to meditate on the universal form of the Lord is given so that they also can have a means for purification. We cannot leave them alone. So they also have to be purified. And so at best, we can suggest them, we can ask them to meditate on the universal form of the Lord so that gradually, as they become more and more qualified, at some point of time in future or after many lives, they might be able to relish the personal form of the Lord. On the other hand, if one is already able to relish the personal form of the Lord, like we are relishing Lord's qualities through Bhagavatam, we are relishing Lord's form. Each description in Bhagavatam that talks about Lord's form is giving happiness to us. So we are relishing that. So when one is already situated in such meditation on the personal form of the Lord, there is no need for such devotees to go back and concentrate on Virat Purusha. So that's why when Arjuna was requesting Krishna to show the universal form of the Lord immediately showed the form, and then he was immediately, his emotions were transformed into that of admiration and fear. He started to tremble. He started to see the Lord's form spread in all the directions as Sahasra Sirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapa, just like as Purusha Suktam describes the form of the Lord, Aneka Vaktranayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divyabaranam, when he saw that dazzling form of the Lord, the dazzling form of the universal form of the Lord, he immediately was frightened and he started uh, offering obeisances again and again. Namo Namaste, Namo Namaste. There are so many verses in that particular chapter where he offers obeisances so many times. One can also count how many times he offered obeisances. So that many times he was offering obeisances because his emotion was immediately transformed. His Sakya Rasam, the rasa of the friendship, was immediately transformed into Bibhatsa Rasam, or the rasa of uh, wonderful, or rasa of greatness. So he also then later requested, if you read that chapter once again, he later requested Krishna to come back and show his Chaturbuja form, and then Vibhuja form, the two-handed form of Lord Krishna and the four-handed form of Lord Krishna. So these forms are actually pleasing to devotees and they are very satisfied. They derive great pleasure by drinking the beauty of those forms. And such devotees, even if they are shown universal form of the Lord, occasionally their interest is drawn towards personal form of the Lord only. Otherwise, why should Arjuna then request Krishna to show his Dvibhuja form and the Chaturbuja form? And Krishna also later describes that these personal forms of the Lord are very, very rare. Initially, he described Virat form was very rare. It is rarest, and only Arjuna was the first person to see. Even the great demigods haven't seen the universal form. All this he said, but after showing the personal form of the Lord said, this form is even more rarer than the universal form. So, when we carefully read the scriptures in this way, we can understand, no doubt, meditation on Virat form leads to purification of the heart, because Shukamuni himself is suggesting the meditation on the Virat form of the Lord. But meditation on the personal form of the Lord is even more rarer. It is even more purifying. And the devotees are attracted, just like the bees are attracted towards honey. The personal form of the Lord, as Lord Krishna holding the flute and playing his Venugana and leaning against various trees and talking to various birds and his cows. So, just by thinking of Lord's activities in this way, it offers them greater bliss and greater happiness than meditating on the Virat form of the Lord. So, therefore, though Shukamuni started with the description of the Virat Purusha, Virat form of the Lord, that is just the one form of meditation, and that is recommended for the Arvavadis or impersonalists or the Brahmavadis or even the nature lovers. For them, it is easy to imagine because all of them are perceivable. The mountains we can see, so it is not difficult for us to imagine a mountain to be born of the Lord. We can see trees everywhere, so it is not difficult for us to imagine the trees as the hairs on our body, just like hairs on the Virat form of the Lord. We can also imagine the rivers to be veins, the nerves in the form body of the Lord. So all these are perceivable forms. So it is therefore suitable for the impersonalists and those people who advocate the nature is the God, and for such people it is okay. For them it is recommended. Let them meditate on the Virat form of the Lord. But later in the second chapter, Shukamuni starts to describe the personal form of the Lord, which is more confidential. So let's start the second chapter. In the second chapter, we will cover some 17 verses today, and rest of the second chapter we'll cover in the next class. So in the first verse, Sri Shuka Uvacha, Evam pura dharane atmayonir nashtam smritim pratya avrudya tushtat tata sasarjedam amoga drishtir yatapya yat prag vyavasaya buddhihi. So evam pura dharane atmayonir. Atmayonir. Lord Brahma is called Atmayoni because he was born from the Lord himself, from the lotus stemming from the navel of the Lord. So he is also called Atmayoni. And in the beginning of creation, Evam Pura, Pura means in the beginning of creation, Evam Pura Dharane Atma. So by the meditation on the Virat form of the Lord, Dharane Atmayonir, Nashtam Smritim Pratya Avrudya. So he did not have the memory, he did not have the knowledge to perform creation. So he is there. He was the first person to be born. And when he was born, there was no other being. It was fully dark everywhere. But he could understand that he has to find out the source of his existence. So he started following the stem, and he started running along the stem for many thousands of years. And he could not reach the source. So then he understood, I cannot do this by my personal effort, and I can surely say someone has created me. So I have to meditate on the form of the Lord, and I know that that form, that creator, can give me the required intelligence to perform the task for which I am created. So he had that intelligence, and he started meditating on the Virat form of the Lord, universal form of the Lord, and he gained the memory because of meditating on the universal form of the Lord. Nashtam smritim pratya avarudya. So he regained that memory, he regained that consciousness. Initially it was not there. Nashtam smritim means he was not having that memory to perform creation, to perform the task of creation. Tushtat. So how did he regain the consciousness? Tushtat means the Lord was satisfied. So by Lord's mercy, he regained that memory. Tata sasarjedam amoga drishtir. And then tata, thereafter, after that, sasarja idam. Idam means this word. So whenever verses speak idam, idam means this creation. It is pointing to the entire creation. Tata sasarja idam amoga drishtir. And he got a clear vision. Why? Because tushtat, the Lord was satisfied. Yatapyayat prag vyavasaya buddhihi. Yatapyayat prag vyavasaya buddhihi. And his intelligence got fixed. He was able to rebuild the creation as it was before. So, even the very thought that he has to meditate on the universal form of the Lord was aroused because of Krishna. So, Krishna helped the Lord Brahma by giving that memory to meditate on the universal form of the Lord. And this universal form of the Lord, he could not have known otherwise, right? So, who knows universal form of the Lord? The universe is still not created. So that memory can only can come from Krishna. And how can he have the vision of universal form of the Lord if the universe was not there in first place? Because this creation is happening in cycles. So the creation that is happened now will happen again after this destruction, again in the same way, because Vedas are eternal. We always say Vedas are eternal, and Vedas also talk about Indra, many devatas. So how can we then say Vedas are eternal when the devatas they talk about are not eternal? So the reason is, it is just like blueprint. Vedas are always within the heart of Lord, and it is his sankalpa. Just like we have our sankalpa, Vedas are nothing but his sankalpa. And according to that sankalpa called Vedas, the creation happens after every destruction in a similar way, in a same fashion. So the Lord Bhagavan induced Lord Brahma to perform this meditation by giving him the required knowledge also for the meditation on Virat form. And by doing so, he regained the memory. Lord Brahma regained the memory and he started performing the task of creation. And his intelligence was fixed. Yatapyayat prag vyavasaya buddhihi. Shabdasya hi brahmana yesha panta yen nama bir dhyayati dir apartehi. So Shabdasya hi brahmana esha panta. And this Vedas, the Vedas are the basis for creation. As I said, Vedas are nothing but Sankalpa of the Lord. And that's why we say universe started from the sound vibration. We often say the sound was existing even before creation. That sound that we are talking about is the Vedas, which is representing the mind of the Lord. And that mind is always eternal. And so the way of creation happens in a similar way. And this Vedas also sometimes is bewildering. We have seen in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says, Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschitaha Vedavada ratapartha nanyat astiti vadinaha. So he says this, I think, in the second chapter. So he urges Arjuna to not get bewildered or not get illusioned by the flowery words of Vedas. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipashchitaha. Avipashchitaha means one who doesn't have the knowledge. So he says, don't get bewildered by the beautiful descriptions of the heavens in the Lord or various enjoyments that are mentioned in the Lord. No doubt they are tempting, but you don't get tempted. So Krishna says you don't get tempted because those are temporary enjoyments. So that's what is stated in this verse also. Shabdasya hi brahmana yesha panta yen namabir dhyayati dir apartahi. Apartahi. So this way of presentation of the Vedic sound is so bewildering that sometimes it directs our intelligence also to the meaningless things like the heavenly kingdoms. Because the description of the happiness is so tempting. Actually when we read, it is so tempting because there is sometimes no disease for many devatas. They can enjoy for countless number of years, and there is no disease or old age for them. Sometimes they also get intoxicated by drinking various kinds of intoxicants, and the enjoyment that they enjoy is several million times higher than the enjoyment that we enjoy as humans. Yet, despite all this, if you just think of the distance of Vaikuntha Loka from Bhuloka and Vaikuntha Loka from Swargaloka, it is almost same. So it is just like if we have a two-story building, as humans, Martiloka, we are in the ground floor, and as Devatas, they are in the first floor or second floor. And it doesn't matter if one is in the ground floor or one is in the second floor or third floor or even in the 100th floor. The distance of the Mars or Moon from the 100th floor is same as the distance from the ground floor. So it doesn't matter. Therefore, that's why Krishna was warning Arjuna to not get tempted by those words. Shabdasya hi Brahmana Esha Panta, Yen Namabir Dhyayati. And there are so many names and forms that get created after the creation. So in the beginning of creation, everything was existing as a pradhana. I was talking about this. So there was something called pradhana, and then Lord through his glands injects all the jivas into that, and then that becomes Mahat Tattva. So pradhana transforms into Mahat Tattva, and then upon further glance, the three gunas they react and produce the other ingredients for the creation, like the five Mahabhutas and five Tanmatras and so on, etc., etc. So, and then they get various names and forms. Then Lord Brahma creates, we say something is tree, something is snake, something is bottle, something is furniture, and so on. So they get various names, and they get various forms, and so on. Those names, various names and forms, sometimes they attract the conditioned souls. So Yan Namabir, Dhyayati. And so we start to desire that names and forms and those material creation. Yan Namabir Dhyayati. And so we contemplate on that. Dir Apartahi. But what is there any artham in that? There is no meaning in that. So Bhagavatam calls it Apartahi. So meditating on various names and forms within this material world is only degrading to the consciousness of the soul. Paribrahmam tatra na vindate arthan. So we may wander in various kingdoms. We may just like in dream, sometimes we dream of various enjoyments. We sometimes become king. We are served by millions of people, and everyone is serving our orders and so on. All these are only happening in dream, and one may also acquire the pleasure as much as if a king experiences, though it is a dream, we may acquire the same level of pressure because it is that jiva is thinking that it is happening. It is not consciousness. It is not conscious that it is a dream. So one may also enjoy such pleasures in dream, but after all, it's a pleasure enjoyed in dream. Or sometimes one may also suffer in the dream. One may be chased by a tiger, or one may be chased by a snake, and so on. So at that time we also fear, and that experience is also experienced in the dream. So whether it is a pleasure experienced by a king that we experience in the dream, or whether it is the pain of a person who is being chased by a wild animal, both these pains and pleasures are after all happening in dreams. So they don't have a real existence. So similarly, the pains that we experience in the hell or the pleasure that the demigods experience in heaven, both are also just like dreams. Just like dreams. So they no way affect the soul. The soul is far, far, far above all these transient pleasures and the material creation. So there is no question of the heavenly pleasures being better than hellish pains. From this angle, if you see, there is no difference between heavenly pleasure and hellish pain. Both are, in one sense, the same substance called dream, the false experience that a jiva gets. It sometimes thinks that it is happy after acquiring some objects of sense gratification. It sometimes thinks that it is sad after losing the object of sense gratification that it previously desired. But all these experiences are just like uh, dreams. Paribramam tatra na vindate arthan mayamaye vasanaya shayanaha. Shayanaha means, as I was explaining, when we sleep, we experience various dreams. So the jiva in the sleeping state, what is the sleeping state? The jiva is asleep to his real nature, the spiritual nature. We have forgotten our spiritual nature. We think that we are this body. We think that I am male or I am female. I belong to this country. I belong to this society, and so I have to defend them, and so on. So we create so many conceptions. So just like so many waves appear in the ocean, just like that, so many conceptions appear just by misidentifying with this body. So that is the cause of all the misconceptions. But nothing of it is true. Nothing of it is real. We just imagine so many things. Maya maye vasanaya shayanaha. And why does the jiva then get stuck in this pains and pleasures? Of course, there is no pain, there is no pleasure, there is no happiness in any way. It is all dream. The jiva swarupa is totally different. It is anandamaya. Its form is bliss. Then why is the jiva then stuck in the cycle of experiencing pain and pleasure? Because maya maye, the illusory energy of the Lord. So Maya is the Bahiranga Shakti of the Bhagavan. That is so powerful that it bewilders everyone. It bewilders everyone, irrespective of this, irrespective of their status in this material world, whether it be great Maharishis or great Devas. Even Lord Shiva sometimes get bewildered, sometimes Lord Brahma gets bewildered. Great sages like Vishwamitra Muni gets bewildered because this form, the Maya Shakti is so attractive, so bewildering. Everyone gets bewildered by the Maya Shakti of the Lord, and being bewildered, they engage in various action, and so they desire pains and pleasures. So everything is the engagement of a jiva in this material world is because of Lord's Maya. So Lord's Maya is just like a prisoner. This material world is just like a prison house. So this prisoner is engaging the people in various punishments, and so that is what we see as pains and pleasures in this world. Sometimes the prisoner also rewards a prisoner. If the prisoner is having good conduct, the prisoner rewards the prisoner. That is the punya palam that we get. The fruit of the pious actions that we get is the reward of a reward given by the prisoner, reward given by the warden to the prisoner, and the pains that we get is also the punishment that the jail warden gives to the prisoner. So both are in that sense same, whether it's a heavenly pleasure or hellish pleasure. We are just roaming, wandering over various pleasures and pains. Atak kavi namasu yavad artha. But out of such millions and millions of jivas who are accustomed to enjoying heavenly pleasures and dreaming in that way, there may be some intelligent people who are very rare, and they get that intelligence because of the mercy of the Lord. Ata kavi namasu yavadartha syat aprammatto vyavasaya buddhihi. So some intelligent people amongst all many such jivas recognize this fact that everything is just a dream. It is not my duty to enjoy this material body in so various ways and get stuck more and more and become the become eligible for more and more punishment. So what should I do now? I should just utilize this body for only as much required for self-realization and maintenance. This body is a wonderful gift. I have to maintain this body by giving its enjoyment, due enjoyment that it needs. But I should not be overly engaging my senses in various sense objects, thinking that it is all in all. So such people are called kavihi, intelligent people in this verse. Atha kavi namasu yavadartaha, only as much required. Yavadartaha means minimum amount of sense gratification one may enjoy. Yavadartaha syat apramatto, one should not one should not become mad after the sense enjoyment. Aparamato, Vyavasaya Buddhihi. Then how should one engage the intelligence? It is the intelligence that is causing us to anticipate many pleasures, and so we perform so many actions in this material world. How should the intelligence be engaged? Then the intelligence should be steadfast in the actual purpose of the human life. So when our intelligence is fixed and when it is not moved an inch from that position, I am not intended to enjoy in this material world. My position is totally different. I am aprakrita, I am spirit soul. I should so therefore stay in that consciousness. This is called anusandhanam, atma anusandhanam. We have to keep reminding ourselves of our actual nature by getting that information from Gita, Upanishad, and that's called Anusandanam. Krishna also talks about that. Janma Mritu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam, he says. He calls that as knowledge. He says, Amanitvam Adambitvam. Uh, 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 he says in a verse, Amanitvam, one should not have any desire to be respected. Adambitvam, Ahimsa Kshanti Arjavam, Acharya Upasanam, and then Stairyam. He says, he lists so many qualities and he calls that this I declare as knowledge. And he, in that list, he declares Janma, Mritu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. Vairagyam, he talks about Vairagyam as knowledge. So he gives various items in that list, and one of them is Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. So we have to always see that there is Janma everywhere, there is Mrityu everywhere. Jara, one gets old and one gets disease. So there is no happiness anywhere. One has to constantly keep thinking about it. That's when we can internalize all those ideas, and we can then act as per that platform, spiritual platform. So syad aparamatto vyavasaya buddhi. So when one's intelligence is fixed in that way on the spiritual platform, I am the spirit soul, I am not this material body, that is called vyavasayatmika buddhi. Siddhe anyatartha na yateta tatra parishramam tatra samikshamanaha. So whatever I do in this material world using this body, it is all parishramam. There is no substance in that. There is no value to any of the enjoyment that I do. So therefore, I should not unnecessarily engage any of my senses into these sense objects. Rather, I should only utilize this material body to a minimum extent required, and my primary goal should be being situated on the spiritual platform. So one who carries such vision is the intelligent person in this world. Satyam Shitau Kim Kashipoho Prayasir Baho Swasiddhe Hi Upabarhanai Kim. So when there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? So in the previous verse, Shukadeva Goswami talked about minimum engagement required. Now he is giving some examples. This body needs engagement to live. Even to live, we need some engagement. So how should we then engage? What is that minimum engagement that Shukadeva Goswami is talking about? He says, Satyam Shitau Kim Kashipo Prayasair. Prayasair means we are endeavoring. Prayasam, they say, we put a lot of endeavors to achieve something. Why should we put so much endeavor if there is already arms using which we can sleep? Why should we endeavor to get kashipo? Kashipo means bed. Satyam Kshitau Kim Kashipo Prayasair Baho Swasiddhe. So all of us have got nice arms. We can just lie down like this using our arms. He upabar hanaihi. Instead of bed and bedstead, just lie down using your arms. Kim sati anjalau kim puruda anna patre. So you have got your hands. Why is the need of utensils and anna patrehi? Kim puruda anna patrehi. So why is there need of accumulating so many utensils for carrying so many objects? You have your hands. Just get whatever your hands can hold. You are bringing so many big vessels because we are greedy. So Shukadeva Goswami is advising everyone, you have got nice hands, just collect as much required for your current sustenance and then use it. Use your hands for that. Dig Balka Adav Sati Kim Dukulai. Dukulai means clothes. Already there are the bark of the tree, the skins of the tree. Use that. Why is there need of clothing? So he is a Paramahamsa. He is situated already on that state. So he is talking from his level. One may argue then we have created a civilization. We have invented so many things. We have got Chat GPT, AI, we have got so many machines. Now is Shukadeva Goswami asking us to relinquish all that inventions and go back to early ages? That is not the idea. If we can utilize those objects in the service of the Lord, it is welcome. But what is Shukadeva Goswami informing in these verses? We should draw a line for our sense enjoyment. We should not overly use our reserves of energy, mental energy, physical energy, into producing something just to enhance our physical pleasures more and more. So, of course, nobody can go back and no, we cannot lie down using our arms, or we cannot just sustain on fruits that occasionally fall from tree. Shukadeva Goswami, being a great Brahmanishta, he could do that. But what we are possessing, we can use it for the service of the Lord. And we can draw a line. This much is enough for me. I'm not going to seek more and more of these pleasures. I'm not going to use my energy more and more into acquiring something that is temporary. Instead, I'm going to use my mental energy, my intelligence, my physical energy for my spiritual advancement. This much is enough for me. So, if we can cultivate that attitude, that is also minimum sustenance of our body. That is fine. Chirani kim pati na santi dishanti bhiksham. So, people are not giving bhiksha to you when you go out. They are not giving clothes to you. Don't worry. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? So you may be rejected by the householders, but there are so many trees. You can just go and lie down there. If nobody is giving you shelter for your life, the trees, big trees with so many branches, the big banyan tree you can see there, it can give you shelter. Don't worry. No longer giving alms in charity. Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to thirsty? There are rivers flowing everywhere. Nice rivers are flowing in our Bharat Desha. Yamuna is flowing, Ganga is flowing, Saraswati is flowing, Brahmaputra is flowing. Those are tributaries, of course, but they are flowing. So you just take water from there. No, don't. You need not even ask water from anyone. Even if you complain that nobody is helping you, the nature is that Lord has created sufficient resources. You can use that. And you may say, no, I can reside under a tree. But what will happen if there is heavy rain? So Shukadeva Goswami says, Ruddaha Guhaha, he's saying there are closed caves. You can go into the cave and you can live there. You will not be troubled by heavy rain. So are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, okay, everything has given you. Yeah, no, everything has rejected you. And no, nothing is giving shelter to you. Householders are not sheltering you. The trees are not sheltering you. And there are no caves. Then Shukadeva Goswami says, Kim ajitaha avati na upasanan. Ajitaha means Lord Krishna, one who cannot be conquered. He has taken woe to give protection to the surrendered souls. If you are surrendered unto that Ajita, has he stopped giving any protection to surrendered souls? So in Ramayanam, there is a famous verse, just like in Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, we have the famous Charama Shloka. We have also got similar shloka in Ramayanam, where Rama says, Sakardeva Prapannaya Tavasmi iti yachate Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo Dadami etat vratam mama. Lord Ramachandra says, Sakardeva Prapannaya, just if for only one time, if one is surrendered soul, Sakradeva Prapannaya, Tavasmi iti yachate. If a jiva says, I am yours, Tavasmi iti yachate. Just by saying, one need not even have. So, Sharanagati has 6 angas. So, here Lord Rama is not saying you have to perform all the 6 angas, perfectly surrender unto me, only then I will give protection. He's not saying. He's saying, If you just say I'm yours, tavasmi ityachate, abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami. I give you protection from all the jivas, sarvabhutebhyo dadami. Etad vratam mama. As a Parabrahmam, I have so many swarupam, so many characteristics for my swarupam. For example, one of the characteristics is that my body is not made of material elements. My body is totally spiritual. And my glories are spiritual. There is no limit to my glories. And Akshara, I never fall. I'm not touched by the three gunas. So these are all qualities of Parabrahmam. Apart from that, there is also one other quality, that I never leave the surrendered souls alone. I will always take care of them. So this is another Swarupa of Parabrahmam, it is said. So Rama is saying it is my Swarupam, it is my Vratam, it is a promise. So if I give up protection, if I give up giving protection to surrendered souls, then it is against my nature, it is against my Swarupa, Lord Ramachandra says. Just like Lord Krishna says, Sarvadharman parityachya mam ekam sharanam raja. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. So whether it is Rama or Krishna, everyone is saying the same thing. So the vow, he has taken the vow. So everyone else can give up giving protection to you, but the Lord will never give up giving protection to you. So Shukadeva Goswami says, does the Almighty not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hardy and wealth? Sometimes learned sages go to householders to beg bhiksham. It is not because they want to sustain themselves. They want to give opportunity to householders for spiritual advancement. Merely by being present in front of their home, they award the benediction by which those householders can advance in the spiritual life. So that is the very purpose why great sages sometimes go for unchavritti or for bhiksha. So they want to flatter these learned sages, they want to flatter the householders so that they surrender totally unto the Supreme Lord. The reason is because Supreme Lord protects such surrendered souls, thinking that it is his property. Now it is his responsibility to give protection. He thinks like that. Just like how we think sometimes as devotees, if I don't serve Krishna, it is against my Swarupa. If I don't serve Krishna, it is a sin. Just like that, Krishna also thinks, if I don't give protection to the surrendered souls, I am performing sin. So that's how Krishna thinks. So there is no reason why you should lament, Shukadeva Goswami says. So therefore, evam swachitte swata eva siddha. So this Lord, now you may question, okay, Lord is giving protection to everyone. I agree. It is his promise that he made that he will give protection to everyone. But where will I find the Lord? I don't know where the Lord is. Perhaps I am in Arab country where there is no temple. I cannot go to the temple also to have darshan of the Lord. So Shukadeva Goswami answers that question also. Evam swachitte swata eva siddha. Lord is there already in your heart. In any situation, he is always accompanying you. In any kind of body that you take, whether it's a body of animal or whether it is a body of Nastika who altogether not just rejects the presence of the Lord, he blasphemes the Lord. It doesn't matter. The Lord is always accompanying everyone. Evam swachitte swata eva siddha. And he is present in the chitta, the heart of everyone, swataha. By his own will, by his own omnipotency, he is present. Eva siddha, and he is also fully represented. So it is not that because he is present as a smallest being, subtlest being, close to Jivatma within the heart, he is less powerful. He is the same Supreme Lord who is present in the Vaikuntha Loka. There is no difference. The Paramatma, who is the smallest of the smallest, who is situated very close to the Jiva, who is so close to the Jiva, though we may search for many, many millions of lives, and it may happen that one may forever be searching, and after so many millions of lives, one may achieve the Paramatma. It doesn't matter. Still, the Paramatma and Jiva are very close to each other in the Hridayam. And he is fully represented as Paramatma and Hridayam. He is not diminished in qualities or greatness, even though he appears as the smallest of smallest, and even though he appears within this material creation. He may appear within this material creation. This material creation is characterized by Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, which is impurity. But still, that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas cannot contaminate that Paramatma. The Jiva is constantly experiencing so many sense pleasures. Even by seeing that, even by being as a witness to the Jiva's action, he is still not tempted by those sense enjoyments. He is not covered by the Maya that he has produced. So he is present in full potency as Paramatma in the heart. Swatayeva Siddha, Atma Priyam. So why does he give protection to the surrendered souls? Why should he give? Because Atma Priyo, he is the soul of all the souls. The souls, they don't have independent existence. The souls, they are always tied to the supreme existence of the Lord. So therefore, Paramatma is the soul of all the souls. Atma Priyo, Artha Bhagavan Anantaha, Tam Nivruto, Niyatartho Bhajeta, Samsara Hetu Uparamascha Yatra. So therefore, yeah, this you have to meditate on the Paramatma who is situated within your heart, Tam Nivruto, and by being detached from the world, Niyata Artho Bhajeta, Niyata Artha, the permanent gain. Don't go behind the temporary gains of sense pleasures. The permanent gain is the Bhagavan himself. Tam Nivruto Niyata Artho Bhajeta. And what is the benefit of doing the bhakti towards the Lord? Samsara Hetu Uparamascha Yatra. Our cause of all the suffering is this samsara. This material existence is cause of all the suffering that we are experiencing. Because we are present in this material existence, we face so many problems. We have to eat. We sometimes get hungry. We feel thirsty. We have to drink water. We have to maintain the body in so many different ways. And during birth, we experience so many pains. We forget though after getting birth, but the fact still remains that one has to experience a lot of pain during birth. And old age also is always accompanied by a lot of pains. A youth may not understand the pains of old people, but when they get old, then they actually see the experience and the pain. And then the death is also the greatest suffering. One has to give up all the attachment, one has to give up all the affection. One is forcibly extricated from this existence by this death. So all these tribulations, all these miseries one is experiencing because one has forgotten one's real nature as Atma. And so one can get relief from this samsara. Samsara hetu uparama. Uparama means cessation, the stopping of the samsara. Samsara hetu, he becomes the cause. Hetu means the cause. The reason for one's ceasing the pains of this material existence is the Lord. Samsara hetu uparamascha yatra. So one has to fix one's mind in meditating the lotus form of the Lord, lotus face of the Lord, and so on. Kastam tu anadritya paranuchintan rite pashun asatim nama kuryat pashyan janan patitam vaitaranyam swakarmajan paritapan jushanam. So when Lord can help a jiva from coming out of this, all the pains of the miseries of the samsara, why do some people reject this offer by the Lord? Kastam tu anadritya paranu chintan. So who is that who is that person? Kastvam, Shukadeva Goswami is asking the question, Kastvam, who is that person who rejects taking the shelter of the Lord? Kastam tu anadritya. Who is that Anadritya means neglecting. Anadritya paranu chintam. Who is neglecting the meditation on the on Lord. Rite Pashun Asatim Nama Kuryat. So Pashun. So here Shukadeva Goswami is comparing such people who reject the shelter of the Lord as Pashun, just like animals. They don't have any desire for their ultimate benefit also. Animals, they don't know. If suppose a slaughterer is taking the animal to slaughter, the animal will simply follow. They don't know how to seek protection. Just like this samsara is slaughtering everyone, left, right, and center, giving miseries in all the forms that we can imagine. Yet, just like Pashu, just like animal which faithfully follows its own slaughterer, we are very faithful in engaging our senses to the Maya. So, Pashun, Asatim Nama Kuryat. And this material world is Asat. It is non-permanent. Asatim Nama Kuryat. And as I mentioned, the material world takes various forms in the form of Nama and Rupa. Nama Kuryat, one we engage in experiencing this impermanent happiness in the form of names and forms within this material world. Pashyan Janan Patitam Vaitaranyam Swakarmajan Paritapan Jushanam. So Vaitaranya is one of the rivers, I think that is mentioned in Garuda Purana, if I'm not wrong. It is a river of blood, or I'm not really sure. Vaitaranya is a river where the beings in the hell are put and they are made to suffer. So, despite seeing all the people being slaughtered by this Maya, one is not able to invoke that Vairagya. And therefore, Shukadeva Goswami is calling such materialists Pashun. So they are just interested in experiencing the result of their own work. Those animals, they are interested in experiencing the result of their own work, but they don't see that they are falling into the river of suffering called Vaitaranya, and so they are therefore no better than animal. Just like there is one other example Krishna gives to Uddhava. Suppose if someone is to be hanged today, so many people get capital punishment. On the day of capital punishment, it is a custom to ask those prisoners what they want, what is their final enjoyment, or what do they want to eat. So sometimes they may say, I want this to eat, I want to eat that, so on. They may give a big list for. Sometimes they see, what is the use? I'm going to die. But despite all that, that thought is always there. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And that thought is pervasive within their mind, and they cannot even enjoy. One may keep all the best items in the world before them, they cannot enjoy. So Krishna gives the same example to Uddhava in Uddhava Gita. No person will like to enjoy, no person who has been awarded the capital punishment will like to enjoy the tastiest of the food item when it is kept before them. Krishna gives the exact same example. Just like that, we are all now in the row of capital punishment. Everyone is going to die one day. One has to give up all the possessions one day. Yet we try to enjoy the food that is placed before us. We try to seek so many sense pleasures. Then what to say, what to speak? The illusory energy of the Lord is so powerful that they even forgot that it is not sane to seek pleasure when one is in the capital, when one is in the row of capital punishment. So therefore, such people are called Pashu. Only an animal cannot recognize that he is in the row of capital punishment. Previous goat was slaughtered by the slaughterer without any mercy. Now he is the next. The animal doesn't know. It may fear momentarily, but if we throw a grass before it, it will forget everything, and it starts to taste the grass. It will forget all the tribulations that it is going to suffer. So that is the situation of an animal. Just like that, the materialists are forgetting their situation in this material world, and they are just trying to enjoy this material world. Kechit swa dehantar hridayavakashe pradesha matram purusham vasantam. So others, so Kechit means here others. So after talking about materialists, the Shukadeva Goswami is talking about other transcendentalists, the devotees. Kechit swa dehanta, Lord is present within this deha, swa dehanta, hridaya avakashe, and in the region of heart, in the hridaya kamalam he is present. Pradesha matram purusham vasantam. So he is present as Purusha in the size of a thumb. Pradesha matram Purusham Vasantam Chaturbhujam Kanja Ratanga Shankar Gadadaram Dharanaya Smaranti. And he is also possessing Chaturbhujam, four forms, Kanja Ratanga, and he is also possessing lotus and the wheel, lotus in one hand, the Sudarshan Chakra in the other hand, Kanja Ratanga Shanka Gadadaram. In the other hand, he is having Shanka and Gada. So in four hands, he is holding one hand lotus, and the other hand Shanka, and then the Gada, and then the Sudarshan Chakra, Gadadaram, Dharanaya Smaranti. So one has to meditate on this form of the Lord who is present within the heart. So there are many meanings for Purusha. And mainly when Prabhupada writes, he mentions Purusha means the enjoyer. So someone who is enjoyer is Purusha. So the jivas, they are trying to enjoy this material world. So sometimes these jivas are also called Purusha. And therefore Lord is called Purusha Uttama because he is Uttama Purusha. But actually the Purusha, only Purusha is Krishna because he is the only enjoyer of all his creation. All the creations, whether it is jivas or the devatas or the liberated souls, the Nitya Siddhas in the spiritual world, all of them are meant to serve the Lord only. So he alone is the real enjoyer. So that is one meaning of the word Purusha. And then the other meaning is Pura Shariram Tasmin Sete Iti Purushaha. There is one meaning. Pura Shariram Tasmin. So the Purusha is one who is sleeping. Tasmin Sete Iti Purushaha. So in this body, there is Purusha who is lying, and that is Vishnu within the heart. So he is therefore called Purusha. That's another meaning of Purusha. And then there are other meanings of Purusha. Purusha also means one who is present since the time of creation, or Purana Purusha we say. He is Purvam, he is present from the beginning of creation. And so he is called Purusha. So there are different meanings of the word Purusha. So here in this shloka, the second meaning of the Purusha is used. Pura Shariram Tasmin Sete Iti Purushaha. So Kechit Swadehantar Hridaya Avakashe. So the Lord is sleeping in the Hridaya Avakashe, and he is also having four hands. So one has to meditate on the beautiful form of the Lord, who is present as Purusha within the heart. Prasanna Vaktram Nalinaya Tekshanam. Kadamba Kinjalka Pishanga Vasasam. Lasan Maharatna Kiranmaya Gadam. Sfuran Maharatna Kirita Kundalam. And Lord is always smiling. Prasanna Vaktram. Always, if you see Vishnu Murtis in the temple, there will be always smiling. Lord is always welcoming all the jivas to him. Prasanna Vaktram. Nalinaya Tekshanam. And his eyes, Ikshanam, the eyes that he has is just like lotus, Nalinaya Tekshanam. Kadamba Kinjalka Pishanga Vasam. And he is also having the yellow garment that he wears, Pishanga Vasasam. Lasat Maharatna, and he is also having various kundalam, Maharatna kundalam, Hiranmayam, it is made of gold. Angadam, Sfurat, it is glowing. Maharatnam, he is also wearing so many valuable jewels. Kirita kundalam, he is having big kratam bedecked with various jewels, valuable jewels. Kirita kundalam, he is also having earrings that he wears. And the Lord's form is so beautiful. And I think in Narayaniam it is mentioned that Bhattatri mentions Trilokyam Mahiya Shopi Mahitam. So the form of the Lord is unrivaled within the entire creation. One may put all the beauty within the creation. One may gather all the beauty of all the devatas, all the manmadas, and put it in a sack and just tie it. That is not equivalent to the smile of the Lord. It is mentioned. Just the mild smile of the Lord is far, far, far beautiful than all the beauties that is put within the sack and kept. So his smile defeats everything. Just his smile defeats the entire beauty. And Krishna also says, Yadyat vibhuti matsatvam Srimat Urjitam evava Taddat eva abhigachatvam Mama teja amsha sambhavam. Krishna says, in this existence, whatever you see as possessing some power, yadyat vibhuti, vibhuti means power, vibhuti matsatvam, Srimat urjitam evava. Sometimes they are very beautiful, not just powerful, beautiful. Srimat urjitam evava. And they are also very strong sometimes. Urjitam evava. Taddat eva abhigachatvam mama teja amsha sambhavam. They are just catching a drop of my teja, drop of my beauty. Whatever beauty that we see is just a drop of his beauty. And Krishna also says, Atuna bahuna etena kim nyatena tava arjuna vishtabhyam aham idam kritsnam ekam sena stito jagat. Oh Krishna, how much list can I put? I have already given so many lists for you that I'm among this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Atava bahuna itena kim nyatena tava arjuna. How much can I explain about my glories? Vishtabhyam aham idam kritsnam. I am spread everywhere. Just imagine my opulence. Vishtabhyam aham idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jagat. You may think this is wonderful creation. There is so much of effort required to create. No, 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 no. I'm not putting so much effort. Ekam shena sthito jagat. I'm sustaining this entire universe with just a fragment of my energy. So this world cannot even bear my fragment of the energy. So that is my greatness, O Arjuna, Krishna says. So the form of the Lord is so beautiful that it defeats the beauty of entire creation. Yet Trailokya Mahiya Sopi Mahitam, Bhattacharya says, we may gather all the beauty of this creation, it is still not equivalent to the smile of the Lord. Yet Trailokya Mahiya Sopi Mahitam, Sammohanam Mohanadishu. And sometimes we get attracted to so many beautiful things. And Sammohanam Mohanadishu. But the beauty of the Lord is so much intoxicating than all those intoxication that we see. Sammohanam Mohanadishu. Ashcharya topi Ashcharyam. We may see so many wonderful things. But what is more wonderful than the Lord? So the Lord, he is unrivaled in his beauty. Nobody is equal to him in his beauty. He is unrivaled in power, unrivaled in strength. You may take any parameter, any metric, he is unrivaled. That's why he is called Asama Udava. Asama Urdava. There is no one equal to him, there is no one greater than him. In any parameter, beauty, strength, knowledge, anything, he is unrivaled. Yet he comes and takes birth amongst us. Isn't it wonderful? Yet such a great being, such a Sarvaloka Maheshwara, he comes down to this gutter called samsara and takes birth among us. And he is coming to instruct us personally. What is the simplicity? This is Ashcharyam. So, Ashcharya topi Ashcharyam. We may see many wonderful things, but nothing is as wonderful as Lord Krishna, whose greatness is uncomparable. Yet he comes down to this world and he talks, he spreads his mercy to everyone, one who hears his pastimes. So that is the greatness of his simplicity. It is called Shaulabhyam. Shaushilyam, sorry. Shaushilyam means someone who is so great, yet he is so accessible. He is so approachable. That is called Shaushilyam. So in all the parameters, he is excellent. Shaushilyam also is excellent. So Prasanna Vaktram, always he is spreading bliss to everyone. He is spreading blessings to everyone by his beautiful smile. Nalinaya Tekshanam, Kadamba Kinjal. So he is wearing beautiful yellow garments and possessing so many earrings and the helmet bedecked with various jewels and glittering and shining like anything. And can anyone be unmoved by this beauty of the Lord? So Shukadeva Goswami further goes on to describe Unnidra Hrit Pankaja Karnikalaye Yogeshwara Asti Apita Pada Pallavam. So that is the beautiful, dazzling form of the Lord. His tejas is also uncomparable, so dazzling. So who sees this form? Unnidrahrit Pankaja Karnikalaye, Yogeshwara, great yogis, they meditate, they are able to have the Paramatma Sakshatkaram within their heart. Unnidrahrit Pankaja Karnikalaye, Yogeshwara Asti Pada Pallavam. So though great mystics, great Yogeshwara, they have placed such dazzling form of the Lord, bedecked with various jewels and unimaginable beauty and so on. And Pada Pallavam, Shri Lakshanam, and he is also marked that is Srivatsam within the heart, that is indicating the presence of Lakshmi. Shri Lakshanam, Kaustubam, he wears Kaustuba Ratnam, Kandaram on the shoulders. Amlana Lakshmiya, Vanamalya, and he is also wearing Vanamali, the the garland made of beautiful flowers. So that is the form of the Lord. So the Lord is not formless. Lord has form, but his forms are spiritual. All the entities that he uses are also spiritual. Vibhushita Mekalaya Angulaike, and his form is well decorated with all the ornaments. And he is also having the kinkini that one wears in the waist. And the rings studded with valuable jewelry is on his fingers. So he is also wearing the rings. His leglets, his bangles, his curly hair with bluish tint, and his beautiful smile are all very pleasing to see. Adina Leela Hasita Akshana Ullasat. Brubanga Samsuchita Buri Anugraham. And he has also got so many pastimes. Adina Leela Hasita Ikshana Ullasat. Always he is smiling and he is glancing. Brubanga Samsuchita Buri Anugraham. So how does Lord expand his Anugraham? Here it is mentioned Buri Anugraham. Buri Anugraham means his Anugraham is also like ocean. So as I was explaining, not only that his beauty is unrivaled, his strength is unrivaled, his power is unrivaled, his opulence is unrivaled. All these are of course unrivaled. But his karuna is also unrivaled. His mercy is also unrivaled. So Uddhava says this to Vidura. So Lord Krishna gave liberation to Putana, even Putana, who came to kill Lord Krishna with evil intention. She came with evil intention. She took the baby, pretending to give milk to the baby, but she was having the poison smeared on her breast, and so she wanted to kill Krishna. Even to such Putana, he gave liberation. So such is the mercy of the Lord. So Uddhava says, who else but Lord Krishna will I take shelter of? Who else in this world can be so merciful as Lord Krishna so as to give liberation to a person who came to kill Lord Krishna? He didn't see all the evil intentions. Of course, it is not that he was ignorant of that. He's a Sarvagnya, he knows everything. Yet he saw the good quality in her. She pretended like a mother, so he accepted Putana as his mother and he gave moksha. Moksha that is sought after great yogis and great jnanis and so on. So that is his karuna. His karuna is also unlimited. So here it is mentioned, Shukadeva Goswami says, he spreads his Bhuri Anugraham, incomparable mercy just by smiling. So when he sees us with a smiling face, that immediately puts all the miseries of samsara into nil and it gives immense happiness. And thus his glance itself is radiating the anugraham in all the directions. The Lord's magnanimous pastimes, Adina Ila, and the glowing glancing of his smiling face are all indications of his extensive benedictions. Prabhupada writes, extensive benedictions, Bhuri Anugraham. One must therefore concentrate on this transcendental form of the Lord as long as the mind can be fixed on him by meditation. So this is the prescription to yogis. So yogis are advised to meditate on this Paramatma within their heart. And that is why and that's why it is mentioned here Yogeshwara. So Yogeshwaras, the great Yogeshwaras, they capture the Lord within the mind, and they are able to also even see the perfect yogis can see the Paramatma within the heart. It is not that they are imagining; they can see the Paramatma form within their heart. So I think we are already. It's 8:25. So I'll continue this chapter later. So if anyone wants to ask anything, you can ask, otherwise we'll end this session for today. Okay, so I request everyone to just unmute and chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.